What is up, guys? So this is going to be my trailer breakdown for The Flash Season 4 Episode 11 titled The Dark Knight. The Elongated Knight Rises. So before the breakdown, let's watch the trailer.
I used to be somebody who saved lives. Now I'm just Barry Allen, inmate number 3562.
Hello again, Central City.
These people need our help.
I'm not fearless like you are. Having the ability to help someone, that's a greater life.
Kaboom!
Let's rise up. Rise above that fear.
The Flash, all new this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Before I get into the actual breakdown of the trailer and the synopsis, promotional photos were released for this episode, and they're released for every episode, but this episode in particular had some interesting promotional photos, specifically the ones that reveal the elongated man's new costume. I predicted that he'll get a new costume, but that's an easy prediction. The episode is clearly called The Elongated Knight Rises, meaning that he will become the elongated man in this episode, and he will probably, or obviously he's getting a costume, but this was my assumption that he's probably going to get a new costume because he's going to become the elongated man, which he hasn't been called yet in this season. So the costume was revealed, and it's definitely better than his other costume, the prototype costume that looks like shit. Honestly, this costume, however, it doesn't look great. I wouldn't say it looks amazing or anything. It looks like a little low quality. The fabric looks a little low quality, but I really like the color because although it's a little more red than I would have hoped, I did want it to be purple, and this is purple. It's purple, and I want it to be purple and not red like his other comic. He has 3 comic book costumes. Orange, the colors are orange, purple, and red. Those are 3 different ones. I didn't want it to be orange because that's just not a cool looking color, honestly. I don't remember why. I think I talked about this. There was another reason, I don't really remember, but I didn't want it to be red because there is way more than enough red characters on the show. There's the Flash. That's it, but the vibe has some red in him. I just wanted to add some color to Team Flash, like purple. Now, like I said, this is more red than I would have hoped, but it still is purple, which is what I asked for. This is a huge improvement over his prototype suit, but that's like everything in the universe is a huge improvement over that suit. I think his mask looks a little weird. It's more face paint than it is mask, honestly. It completely covers, like, it goes around not only his eyes, but like way under his eyes. You can clearly tell that he's wearing face paint on his face, and the mask, it doesn't even look that great. It's barely a mask, really. The face paint would have been enough. The face paint does more to conceal his identity here than the mask does, which, I mean, his identity isn't being concealed in the slightest, which is a problem, kind of, but that doesn't really bother me that much. What bothers me is that the mask doesn't look that great. Also, the strap going from the strap on his shoulder, I don't know what that is. Maybe, hopefully they're going to explain what that is. Maybe it's something like a device that makes this suit stretchy. Maybe, who knows, but it doesn't look great on the costume. Overall, I think this costume looks fine. It definitely looks better than the prototype costume, but like I said, everything in the world looks better than that costume. It's just that this is basically his first costume. The prototype one doesn't really count because you could say that the one that the Flash wore on that test run in episode 1, that was his first costume, but it wasn't. It was a prototype costume. So if this is his first costume, it looks pretty great for a first costume. You compare that to the Flash's first costume, which looks pretty bad compared to his season 4 costume. So maybe in the future he will get a better costume than he has now. But for right now, his first costume, it looks pretty good. So getting to the promo breakdown, the trailer breakdown, 6 seconds in we see Barry get tripped by somebody, and also in the promotional photos you could tell that he's in a fight with somebody, and then also gets befriended by somebody. So the reason that he's getting into fights, first of all, he's in prison, and I'm betting fights happen in there all the time, and all the TV shows that happen. But the main reason people are starting up with him is because he was a cop. He was a forensic scientist for the CCPD, and now he's in jail. Usually cops if they go to jail, they get beaten up a lot, so that's why Barry is getting beaten up here. But he does befriend somebody in the prison. Yes, this wrestler guy, this actor, I guess, is a wrestler. I don't even know his name or anything. I just know he's a wrestler, and he befriends Barry. He might befriend Barry because maybe he was friends with Henry Allen, which is a little confusing because in the synopsis for episode 12, we know that Barry meets somebody who has a connection to Henry Allen, and I thought that was probably an inmate that owed Henry Allen a favor or befriended Henry Allen, so that now he's protecting Barry. But it turns out that that's probably not going to happen because that's happening here. I'm guessing that's happening here because why else would somebody in prison stand up for Barry unless if Henry Allen either did him a favor or just became friends with him? That's my theory. So for episode 12, I said that guy who has a connection to Henry Allen might actually be Cobalt Blue, and this actually strengthens that theory because this kind of eliminates the theory that it's somebody in prison. So we know from the synopsis that a familiar villain returns to terrorize Central City. By the way, I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick. When a familiar villain returns to terrorize Central City, Ralph must rise up to defend the innocent while Barry is detained by his trial. That's actually very misleading. I just realized that's a very misleading synopsis because he's not detained by his trial. He's in prison. But moving on, meanwhile, Barry searches for the strength to keep up his optimism alive in the face of his new circumstances. His new circumstances being him in prison. So this synopsis kind of contradicts itself, which I didn't realize until now because obviously I didn't know that he was going to be in prison until now, but it lies in the first part and then contradicts it in the second part, saying that he has new circumstances in episode 11 and not 10. So that it's a little misleading, but the familiar villain that returns is the Trickster. We know that from set photos, and we also know that from the trailer. But not the good Trickster, not the Mark Hamill Trickster, not him, but his son. I'm guessing they couldn't get Mark Hamill because he was probably busy with either filming The Last Jedi or doing interviews and a press tour for The Last Jedi while they were filming this. So instead, they got the other Trickster, the far inferior version, his son. Well, we really only saw him for one episode. I'm pretty sure we only saw him for one episode. He was fine, I guess. Nowhere near as good as Mark Hamill's Trickster. But you know what? I'm willing to give it a chance. But he goes up against Team Flash, which technically isn't really Team Flash right now because there is no Flash on the team. It's Vibe, Killer Frost, and the Elongated Man, or at least he will be the Elongated Man by the end of the episode. But there's no Flash, so maybe they're going to rename the team to Team Vibe. I'm kidding, they're definitely not going to rename the team, but technically it's not Team Flash right now. Hopefully what they don't do is have Iris as the leader of the team again, like they did when Barry was in the Speed Force, because Barry is off the team right now, he's not on the team right now, and we all know, like normal, sane people know that when Barry isn't there, Cisco should probably be the leader, or basically definitely be the leader. But for some reason, Iris was the leader in episode 1 when Barry was in the Speed Force. But hopefully now they don't do that again in episode 11. Hopefully they have Cisco be the leader in this episode, which would, I don't know, just hopefully Iris isn't the leader in this episode, the leader of Team Flash. Something I'm highly anticipating from this episode is the actual becoming of a hero of Ralph Dibny, because so far whenever we see actual real moments, not only comedic moments, but actual real moments with Ralph Dibny in it, with either him arguing with Barry over whether or not Barry should have ratted him out because he framed somebody who he knew for a fact was guilty, which was an awesome scene and greatly acted by Hartley Sawyer, and an even better scene, or basically equally as good scene, in episode 10 when he told Joe what was going to happen if he got framed, or if he frames, what's her name, Marlise DeVoe, for the whole murder thing, and that scene was equally as awesome. So what I'm anticipating in this episode is more scenes like that. We see something like that when Ralph was in prison with Barry, which he probably sneaked in, he probably stretched through the bars and stuff like that. We see him telling Barry that he's not fearless. This seems like a great character development moment, a moment where he either becomes a hero or it sets him up to become an actual hero. I guess he has been a hero in the past, but in this episode is definitely the episode where he will become a superhero, where he becomes the Elongated Man. So I'm really anticipating seeing scenes where Hartley Sawyer can actually have real moments, because when he does, he's really great. Also, his comedic moments are pretty great too, but his real moments where he's serious, those are the best. So that's all I have to talk about about this episode. Now, something was revealed about Legends of Tomorrow. I'm not making a video about it because I feel like I've talked about it already. I already technically made a video about it, actually. And also, I don't really have time to make a video about that. I have so many other videos to make today and tomorrow and on Sunday and on Monday. But it was revealed today that that Legends of Tomorrow added Keenan Lonsdale as a series regular. If you don't know, Keenan Lonsdale actually plays Wally West, aka Kid Flash. Like I said, I already made a video about this, so if you want to know what I think about this, click in the top right corner of the video for that. In short, I like this because he has really great chemistry with at least Nate, and also it would be really cool seeing a speedster on the show. With him being added as a series regular, that confirms that he will be a main character in the rest of season 3 from whenever he debuts, and also, if there is one, season 4. But let me know what you thought about the trailer in the comments down below, and let me know what you thought about Ralph Dibny's new costume, and let me know what you think about Wally West joining the Legends officially. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.